Still being there with us, President Muhammadu Buhari on Friday assured Nigerians that the armed forces will now take the fight to the enemies of the country. The president gave the assurance during the Independence Day broadcast as Nigeria is plagued with insecurity, which has claimed many lives. This president's speech has brought a lot of conversation to the fore, where many are beginning to ask, really, what is the architectural situation? What is the architectural structure of the Nigerian security? And we are joined this morning to have this conversation by former Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Osita Chidoka, who is also a former aviation minister. He joins us via Zoom from Umuahia. Good morning. Good morning. Good to have you join us.
Good morning. Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
All right, let me begin this discuss about the architectural structure of our security. Let's begin from the southeast, where we left off during the newspaper review. We see what's happening in Anambra State, and a lot of people are concerned. In fact, more than concerned at this point, with many killed. We see that the DSS office has been attacked. INEC officers, over 20 at the last count, had been raised and attacked at different parts of the southeastern part of the country. This is really generating concern. Let's begin from there, because you're joining us from Umuahia. What are your feelings? What are the feels that you are getting? Is there any possible solution, insight, and how can this be addressed?
That means that you're not discussing the security architecture of the country. You're discussing the issues. So those are the symptoms of a failed system. So I will revert you back to what you said about the security architecture. For a country to be a country, for a country to sustain itself, and for a country to be able to secure its citizens, it must have the first things first. And the first things first is that a country must have the required security to man its post. Now, every country faces challenges from criminal action, faces challenges from non-state actors, and in today's world, from terror. So when people discuss the challenges currently facing Nigeria in the southeast, I said it's localizing a national problem. Because I don't understand how that is different from somebody that kidnaps 200 students in Zamfara or in Kaduna, for somebody that killed students of a university who are looking for who went to school. All the offense they committed was that they went to school. I can't see how that is different from the fact that if you go from the president's house in Abuja, where the president lives in Aso Villa, and travel 50 kilometers to Kaduna, towards Kaduna, that road cannot be used by normal, right-thinking people. Bandits have taken it over. So 50 kilometers away from the president, there are bandits operating between Kaduna, between Suleja and Kaduna. So that road is a no-go area for anybody now. And this is 50 kilometers away from the president, 50 kilometers away from the DGSSS, from the Chief of Army Staff, from the IG of Police, and people can't go there. Then something is fundamentally wrong. So what you see in the East is a continuation of the fact that non-state actors have located that the state is weak, is incapable of protecting itself. And to begin with, the greatest architecture that most countries have in their security is the fact that there is a united vision of the country. So when the country breaks its own code of conduct, when the country decides that it will not embrace the path of unity, of managing our diversity, then the country is inviting for itself the type of reaction that you're seeing from non-state actors. Because what it means is that the public, the popular society, is not in tune with the government, is not going to provide them with information. The kind of situation we're seeing, that the fact that we have been at a war in Borno for the past 12 years. If you look at Borno State now, we have been at war, full-scale war, military bombing, IDPs. And that is not bothering everybody. how do you think that the East will remain immune from that problem? Forget what the issues are. Forget whether the issue is Biafra. Forget whether the issue is Islamic State. Forget whether the issue is money. Whatever the issues are, it shouldn't degenerate to violence. So something is faulty about the security architecture of the country. And the first thing that is faulty is the fact that millions of Nigerians have lost faith in Nigeria. They are not willing to cooperate with the government. They are not willing to provide information to the government. That was how Boko Haram was operating. If you remember correctly, at the time Boko Haram was at its peak, President Buhari said that any attacks on Boranu people of Boko Haram is attack on the north. It was on record that the president pointed out that declaring state of emergency in Borno was declaring state of emergency. It was against the country. So what we are saying here is that when there is no unity amongst the citizens, that's number one, security. When the people who are happy with the country are not more than the people who are unhappy with the country, we will get the situation that we have today. Because the security agencies, the security operators in Nigeria are one and the same with all of us in Nigeria. They are not from the Mars. They are not from Niger. They are Nigerians. So how they do their work, the feeling that their offices are there to protect them, the feelings that they can get to the top of their offices determine how they react. So this is my general view about what I feel in the East. What I see in the East is the absence of people who are happy with the Nigerian state. Now, they do not want violence. They do not encourage the violence that is being done by the non-state actors operating in the East, but they are not in any way encouraged by the Nigerian state. They do not believe that the Nigerian state will protect them, because we've seen many people murdered, farms destroyed, cows operating in the southeast in the name of open grazing, destroying people's farms, attacking villages. And they didn't see the government of Nigeria react with the same strength that they are discussing the Southeast problem. So I think it is a national sense of alarm where we discuss the outcome of the disease. We discuss the symptoms and we do not discuss the disease. That's my feeling about what I can see in the East. And I've been moving around here and hoping to make the people perpetrating this violence to see sense that violence against the people, violence against the Igbo people in the Southeast, violence against non-Igbos living in the Southeast does not propagate their own demands. You can demand for referendum, you can demand for a separation from Nigeria, so long as it is non-violent and peaceful. I'm sure they will get more sympathy from Igbo people than they're getting now with their violent acts.
Let's look at where the flaws are in the security architecture of the country. You have expounded on what the problems are and where it's coming from, and the problems are expanding all across the country. It means that something is fundamentally wrong with the way our security architecture is built. How do we begin to correct that? But first, let's look at what is, from the military to the police to the paramilitary, the coordination between this between the armed forces and other paramilitary forces. Why is it difficult for our military and our paramilitary to be able to deal with some of these problems?
Okay, my audio is poor here, but I figured you are saying, where does the problem lie in our security system? First of all, we have to dimension Nigerian security, and the mother of all security in Nigeria is the Nigerian police. The military are actually for our external protection. They are not really for this type of internal operations that they have been bogged down with. But that's what it is. We didn't have an option, so we have to do what we have to do, which is use the military. But the first thing is that the Nigerian police is badly configured. To manage a police from Abuja with almost 5,000 plus police stations, if you look at the police stations in Abuja, from Abuja, with the headquarters, with the zonal commands that are 17 now, it has grown from 12 to 17, with the state commands that are 37, Then you go down to all the way to the village police post, where you have almost 3,000 village police posts in Nigeria, and you have close to 400,000 men. And their annual budget is 440 billion as at 2021 budget. Of this money, 402 billion is for personnel costs. So they are going to use 402 out of about 440 to pay for the salaries of police officers. Now, after paying the salaries, they have 27 billion naira for the overhead of the police. Now, the overhead is to buy the fuel, pay for electricity, buy uniforms, pay for internet, pay for operational daily costs. Now, of that money, of that 27 billion, 4 billion naira was voted for fueling for the police people. So if you break it down to all the police stations in Nigeria, removing the headquarters and co, you find out that the average police station will be getting the money for about 2, maybe 3 liters of fuel a day. So it is clearly unsustainable. The police cannot function. 27 billion naira shared across all the police stations in Nigeria per day will not be enough for them to buy paper and pen for people to write statements. So when you go to police station, you buy your own paper, you bring your own pen, and if you are detained by the police, you pay for your own food, your family brings you food, and you stay in detention. This is clearly unsustainable. Now, if you take it away from there, the capital vote of the police is 13 billion naira for 2021. 13 billion naira. It was, as of 2016, 2018, it was about 18 billion. If you count in for depreciation, the money has gone down by 50% if you talk about 13 billion. Because if you are going to import vehicles are now almost 3 times their prices. If you are going to buy equipment, computers and code, they are 3 times their prices to 2016. So invariably, what the police have, if you control for the depreciation and inflation, is barely enough for them to even maintain their offices, if they ever do such a thing. So clearly, our financing system of the police is totally weak and unsustainable. And I propose, the federal government has no business. There are fears about state policing. So I'm a pragmatic person. We can look for a practical solution. The practical solution I have is that let the federal government continue to recruit police officers centrally, observing our federal character. Then let the state government take over and the federal government continues to pay salary. So the 402 billion is available for the salary of the police people. Maybe we can increase it to hire more police officers. But what then happens is that the state government takes over the infrastructural need of the police and the operational cost. Already, every state government in Nigeria has a security vote. So we can formalize it. So assuming that every state is spending 2 billion naira on overhead for the police, and some states can afford to spend up to 10 billion. States like Lagos, Rivers, on overhead. What will happen is that automatically, at an average of 2 billion, we automatically have moved police overhead costs from 27 billion to 76 billion from the 36 states. And I can assure you, most states can, if we average it at 3, we are up to about 108 billion naira already for overhead. That means that every police station will substantially get enough money to have light, internet, fuel for fuel, buy uniforms for the police officers, buy them safety vests, bulletproof vests, and all that they need to operate. Then for the capital vote, that is 13 billion naira, which is a joke. It's a huge joke. I'm not sure how many vehicles and other ancillary maintenance that the police can do. Maintenance is an overhead. So if the state governments take over the cost of the capital vote, and again, I am saying from the security vote of the states, if they budget 4 billion naira each, that automatically gives police in Nigeria almost at the 36 states, we're already talking about 100 and something billion naira of capital expenditure. So this will be a way to begin the gradual devolution of management of police, creating more localized police, bringing in the vigilante system into the policing system, bringing in the private security companies into the security system, providing intelligent IT materials for all these levels of security to operate. Nigeria is under-policed. Nigeria is totally, the funding of Nigerian police is almost embarrassing compared to any other policing around the world. So, talking about that, and before now I have said that the first thing to do is to remanage our diversity, to get more Nigerians to believe in Nigeria than those who don't believe in Nigeria. If Nigerians don't believe in Nigeria, no amount of security can stop us from the gradual descent to violence and anarchy. So the federal government of Nigeria, under the current administration, has destroyed our national consensus. A situation where you have people from one ethnic group managing the police, managing the DSS, managing the NIA, managing the customs, managing the immigration, clearly means that all the people from the other ethnic groups in Nigeria will carefully be nonchalant and, if not actively sabotaging the efforts of the authorities. So I think that the first things first is to restore our national consensus, is to restore that we cannot love Nigeria and hate Nigerians. You cannot be telling me the story that Nigeria is indissoluble, Nigeria is non-negotiable. Who went to heaven and came back and said Nigeria is non-negotiable? Nigeria was a product of negotiation. We must continue to negotiate Nigeria. Those who want out of Nigeria must have the right to be saying that. Because if you go to Scotland, every time they have voted, the people that want to remain in the UK have narrowly beat those who want to exit. That's how countries function. That people are so happy with the country that those who want to remain will always be more than those who want to exit. So if we want to create a policing system that works, I think we have to review immediately, and this can be done administratively. It doesn't need constitutional amendment to review the funding and operational management of the police. I call it a federally owned or state-managed police. So that will be our first step to having conversations about state police. But in the interim, I am saying that the Nigerian police should we should form a special security squad that will be a gap between the military and the police, purely based on merit, competent young police officers who are going to be paratroopers and everything they can be. And all of that is designed to halt the rising incidents of violence, just like the Colombians have done in Colombia during the drug war. They formed the jungler, trained by the British, and they were able to fight the drug lords, that Colombia was able to win the battle against FARC. So the battle against the bandits in the north can only be fought by a specialized force, trained for that purpose. They should reclaim back Kaduna Expressway. They should reclaim back Zamfara. They should reclaim back Katsina. And then the southeast will be easy to reclaim once Nigerians, because it's a special force and operating in the small land area that is, Nigeria is. But I have always warned, the descent to violence will bode no good for anybody. I have told those involved in IPOB that you can start it, but you can't stop it. I'm not sure that what is going on in the East now is being controlled by any single person. You can start it, but you can't stop it. And I keep warning. I advise all the people in the Southeast who have taken up arms to please drop their arms. Please drop your arms and come back to the negotiation table. All right. Come back to peaceful agitation. Come back to arguing your own point of view. It takes time to win an agitation, but it sure only happens over time. All right. Because it is the support of the people. All right, killing Dr. Akunyili in Anambra State is a national embarrassment. It is an embarrassment that it is an unforgivable sin that a man of the stature of Professor Akunyili, a Biafran soldier, a doctor who is training young doctors in Nigeria, can be brutally murdered in the streets of Anambra State. It's cause for concern, cause for deep concern, that those who are doing this are definitely under the control of IPOB, are definitely not under the control of anybody. I think that criminal elements have taken over and are pushing an agenda that will bode no well for anybody. It will be, at the end of the day, nobody will benefit from this state of anarchy.
In your summation, you have talked about three major things that the federal government should be looking at, some solution dealing with the issue of poor funding, and your proposal for a federal and state-owned police, the management of diversity, as well as special forces to deal with terrorists and bandits around the country. And we have continually also heard about the infiltration of terrorist elements or infiltration of Boko Haram sympathizers into government. I'm looking now at in fighting the war or taking the war to the terrorists, just like the president said in his October 1st, speech. How can the country begin to deal with the issue of Boko Haram sympathizers and informants in government without falling into ditches as they go along, as we have seen over and over again?
If I hear you correctly, what you're saying is, how can we deal with the issue of informants who are working inside government security agencies? Am I correct?
Yes, that's about it.
Yes, okay. So informants, again, is a problem of mismanagement of diversity. When you hire police officers and they know that they cannot attain to the height of their office, they know that they cannot be given some positions because of where they come from, they will definitely work against that organization. Organizational cohesion comes from a spirit of camaraderie, a spirit of what we call, what everybody in the world knows, that organizational dynamics are very interesting. How people react to an organization, the esprit de corps, that feeling that we have as paramilitary and military officers, that esprit de corps has been badly damaged, more so by this government. It has been badly damaged. So the first thing to do is to restore the esprit de corps, to remind everybody that they are equal stakeholders in this. Then the second part is corruption. Now, when President Buhari came to power, one of the reasons why I thought he would fight corruption is because corruption is very corrosive. It damages everything in the country. I don't see corruption more as the act of stealing money. It is more of the act of negating a system, of undermining a system. Once you begin to undermine a system, all the people along the line, from the top to the bottom, who participate in that undermining cannot stop. So corruption has so happened that political office holders are collecting kickback, are building mansions, building houses. You can't expect the police officers who are sitting as guards in their gate. You can't expect the DSS officers who are working with them and seeing that people that they knew yesterday are now supremely wealthy. And you think that that society will remain calm. It is impossible. Why we need to fight corruption in Nigeria is that it has damaged the fundamental thinking of Nigerians. The way Nigerians react to every system is, what is in it for me? What is in it for us? Because every act of corruption is not just about the money that has been taken. It is about the corrosive effect of the system, how it corrodes the system, how it undermines that system. So corruption has entered into our security agencies. So if you go to the other countries that have been challenged like us, if you go to Colombia, if you go to Mexico, even America at some point, part of the challenges have been that the police officers connived with the criminals to provide them information, provide them armament. We saw that in the case of Aneni, the criminal, and Osumbo. If you remember, there was a police officer who was providing them information, Iyambu, who was giving them information and guns that made Anini look like he was a miracle man who escaped before any police action. So there will always be police officers who will undermine the system. There are CIA officers who sold information to the Russians. There are KGB agents who were bought over by the CIA and they gave them information. All this has happened around the world. It is how the organization comes back from this that is important. And how to come back from it is that, first of all, the salaries, recruitment, appointment, and promotion in the services should be seen to be fair, so that nobody feels, nobody is angry, nobody is upset with the system. Because once people get upset with the system, they begin to undermine the system. They must see that they failed in a fair competition, that they all have equal opportunities, but not necessarily equal outcomes. The second part is that their remuneration and the taking care of their families, the taking care of their insurance, providing them with insurance, providing them with opportunities for self-development, will make sure that when people look at what is the need for them at the long run, the protection their family have. The government pays for insurance for them and their family. They have some money that they will get at the end of their service, a bulk sum. They also have a pension that is coming. When people look at all of this, 19% of human beings are neither sinners or saints. They will most likely wait for that payoff day. So, and the third part will be that the organization must continuously have a process of interrogating itself. So that's why people introduce polygraphs. People introduce checking up their staff, seeing their lifestyle, how many children do they have, what schools do they attend, how much is their salary vis-a-vis the amount of money they are spending. Once you see that the money, their bills are higher than their income, then you know that there is an income augmentation happening somewhere. Either they are taking money or they are becoming agents to people to be able to get that money to fund their basic lifestyle. So that is why an economy is linked. Restoring our public education, restoring our public transportation system makes it possible for people who work for government to be able to, quote and unquote, to be able to provide for their children. I say provide. So if their children are in public schools where they're not paying school fees, if the public transportation system is there available for them not to buy a car for themselves and their wife and buy to a driver to take their children to school, then you see that people will have less desire for some of the things that they do to undermine the system. But constantly checking up on the police officers, localizing every police station, checking the lifestyle of the police officers, passing them through polygraph tests, and investigating egregious acts of dishonesty by police officers will go a long way to resolve it. All over the world, there are challenges of informants across all agencies, even in terror organizations. One of the things that they do is to constantly check for those who are ratting on the terror organizations. So you see that even Boko Haram are killing their own, who they see that they have become government informants. So I don't think that we should break our head on it, but we should go ahead to finding the solution, which is restoring national unity, working to make sure that officers feel they are part of the system, providing them with basic amenities, and also providing them with constant investigation to weed out the bad eggs amongst the group.
All right, Mr. Chidoka, before I let you go, every time the ball always stops on the table of the leader. Let's quickly touch on the sincerity of purpose. A lot of, security analysts have said that there is no sincerity of purpose on the part of the government to deal with this issue decisively. And when there is one, then we might begin to see a change. What do you make of this?
Of course, sometimes, sincerity of purpose is something I would like to see in our leaders. But also, I've come to some conclusion that you can't replace competency with sincerity of purpose, because you can be sincere in a useless purpose. You can be sincere in your effort to get from Umuahia to Aba, and you decide that you will go through the Enugu Expressway heading towards Okigwe. You probably will never arrive at Aba because it's that's not the road. You may be sincere in your purpose. You may genuinely think that you're heading to Aba, but you're heading in the wrong direction. So I always, first of all, say we need to deal with the issue of competence. The people managing our security system today have delivered insecurity. So when people tell me about ethnic domination, they tell me about people taking over Nigeria, I said, you must first of all see how competent you are to manage what you have. There is gross incompetence going on across all levels of government. So with that incompetence, sometimes I don't even know whether they are sincere in their purpose, because they may be sincere, but they have no competence to deliver what they have been, the job they've been given to do. So I would love Nigerians and the government to have sincerity of purpose, but I would prefer more that the government have clear competencies and respect for the laws of Nigeria. The laws of Nigeria require you to reflect our diversity, to reflect our federal character in all agencies. Failure to do so will lead to almost internal insurrection in any organization. Because don't forget, all the officers are hired across the country. So you cannot come at the top and just find that only people from a particular group gets to the top. That doesn't work well for Nigeria. What we said, why I have been a proponent of unlocking Nigeria. And I said, we must unlock Nigeria, and we must unlock Niger, because the two Nigerias that exist, Niger and Nigeria, I said, Niger is that space where everybody in Niger today is operating almost in total isolation from government. So you find the Nollywood people, you find the Lagos economy, you find the music economy in Nigeria running on steroids. You find the tech economy in Nigeria. Nigerian tech industry have raised more money than all the states of Nigeria have raised as loan combined. Over $600 million have been raised over the past few years by Nigerian tech businesses. This tells you that despite the challenges of our nation, people outside Nigeria see potentials in Nigeria. They see potentials in our numbers. They see potentials in our diverse ethnic groups. They see potentials in the ingenuity and the talents that are bound in Nigeria. What is remaining is for that leader who will infuse the spirit of Niger into Nigeria, who will
Mr. Chidoka,
withdraw the moribund nature of the Nigerian state, the rentier Nigerian economy, the rentier state that we have in Nigeria, that state that we have that promotes division, that promotes the divisive tendencies, needs to be abolished.
We're going to have to leave it here, Mr. Chidoka.
Nigeria, and Nigerian people can operate freely.
Thank
you
you
very much.
Thank you so very much for your time, Mr. Chidoka. We've been taking a look at the security situation, what is wrong with the security architecture, efforts to review Nigeria's security architecture, what changes should be undertaken, and how these changes can protect lives and property. And Osita Chidoka, former Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps and a former Minister of Aviation, has joined us via Zoom from Umuahia. Thank you again for your time.
Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.